where they currently have them located.
Well, that's where the property setbacks would come into play,
The
because it
proper law.
would help affect the neighbors less.
Correct.
They could still have their windmills provided it fit within those setbacks.
That comes down to the planning board.
Other comments? Any old business? New business? Business. Lee, Highway Department report.
Alright, this month's been filling some potholes, we'll continue doing that tomorrow. Pound gravel over on Spencer Hill, South Woods, roadside one started. The pre-approved for agreement is, floating around here somewhere. That needs to be signed tonight, that's the Craig Road, blacktop. Cunningham crossover pipe, that went well. I have two quotes for the roof coating. One Jeff Henry, he's right on Fitzmyer Road, down here in Howard. That one, this guy here is out of Can Steel. You got about, as of 9 o'clock this morning, we had 5,500 tons of ground.
They've been down here the whole time.
Down at Fitzmyer. We got about 7,500 more tons to put down here. So we've been hauling a lot faster than this. So the pressure broke down a couple times last week, real fixed, and that kind of thing, so.
When are you gonna get our homes at?
12 pounds. 25,000 total. I'll keep going on with that.
We can come back to that as it passes around.
Cemeteries. We all know the cemeteries will get mowed before Memorial Day. Larry Miles right here from Hartsville, he mows cemeteries from Hartsville. He put in a quote for 2,500, was it, Larry? 2,500, he's got his own liability insurance. He's got his own mowers, his own equipment. He looked at the cemeteries here, Tuesday.
Yeah.
And he would like to have a job. Any questions, you know, talk to him or something?
I have no problem with it. I'm making motion that we hire Larry more cemeteries.
First of all, we only budgeted 2,000, right? Isn't that our budget?
I don't think so.
2,000.
Is it?
So, that exceeds that budget allocation.
How much?
2,000. Move 500 bucks out of the highway, put in there.
Well, out of contingency, we can do it on there, because we did put money in there.
So make a motion to do that.
I talked to several people that I thought might be interested in doing it, and they want to do it.
Now you got your insurance paid, right?
I've got a copy of his insurance here, and so. to you guys. So you need to have the first money move.
Yes, the money needs to be moved first.
Lowell made a motion, I'll second that. All in favor?
That's on
Aye.
contingency, moving from contingency to the secretary. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
When you wanna start, Larry? When do you think you can start?
Right now.
Got daylight.
They might be a little soggy right now, some of them.
Yeah, you got some that's weed whacking, so.
Yeah, is there a motion to accept his bid? Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, Aaron.
Some people want that one.
Hmm?
Some people haven't done that one.
Why don't you get it? Yeah, I've done the 1, 2, 3 tests.
You got, enough to lay the dust.
First, that's all we got, didn't even really lay the dust. Been there about 4 o'clock. Quite well.
Is it 284 on the table?
Rhonda has
I,
both.
yes,
We did the 284 last one.
Well, we
you
did.
did.
We did
Here's,
the second
here's,
one.
here's what happened, and I'm just gonna, we don't have to take the time during the meeting to deal with this, but I have fresh copies. What happened last month was, the 284 was signed, but the incorrect copy was signed. The April copy was re-signed. So I have fresh copies from April and from May, and now there's one that's June that reflects what currently has been done. So I'm just gonna ask for fresh signatures so that everything matches up.
This is after the fact. So we do the 284 after the money's been spent?
The motion was made, everything was agreed on the 284. What happened was, the incorrect document was circulated for signatures. Don't know how. So all I'm asking is that for my records, the correct documents be signed, you know,
Yeah, this has to be on file with your office.
Yes,
and with
yes.
the county
Yes.
highway superintendent.
that's correct. So, if you're willing
I
to,
don't recall Craig Road being on here.
But there was calls made and verbals made, and you never returned the call. Hosmer called you 5 times, you never returned his call.
Yeah, you didn't call me.
I texted.
Well, I don't think we should be doing $200,000 with
Well,
text
you know
messages
what?
outside.
Maybe-
Listen,
maybe-
shut up a
maybe-
minute.
No, you
Paul.
shut up.
Come on.
I'm gonna tell you something right now.
Hey.
No.
I'm gonna tell you something.
Yeah.
You need, here's a guy right here,
Yeah.
is up for election,
Yeah.
right? Can I have the floor? Don?
I'm gonna have the floor after. I'm gonna read you something right out of this book.
That's
that
good.
You usually bring here.
All right, here's a guy up for election this year, all right? He's been in my shop maybe 4 times, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. 4 times in 4 years,
You haven't been here 4 years.
3 years. All right. And he's telling me what to do,
We're-
how to run my shop,
we're your-
how to run my
we're your
books,
boss,
how
by
to
the
do
way.
this.
In case you wonder who your
understand
boss
that.
is,
But
we're
you know what,
collectively
Dick?
your boss.
You know what? How about what?
How about you talking to the board in person, in public?
Why don't you come to my office?
Well, because the public isn't there.
It don't matter.
Oh, the
You can
public
still
doesn't
come
matter.
in. Lowell calls me once a week.
Right.
He calls me once a week. Don sees me every day.
Well, I don't think we should be
Hosmer calls
running
me
it by
twice.
text messages.
You
We
know?
should settle things here at the table.
But you know what?
Yeah.
What happens is when there's $118,000 sitting on the table, when it comes down on a Monday morning or Wednesday after a board meeting, and we got blades sitting here pulling out Mill Road, the pavement, you're gonna mobilize them out, have to mobilize them back in to do Craig?
We have rules that we go by, and sometimes they're inconvenient, but this is a public body, and we're answerable to the public. And I'm gonna read you something here if you're willing to listen, and I hope everybody else does too. This is out of the Highway Superintendent's Manual. Failure to observe the laws applicable to budgetary restraint has serious consequences. When an officer, board, or department shall contract to expend any money or incur any liability in excess of the amount appropriated to it, such contract or claim shall be null and void. As to the town, and no money belonging to the town shall be paid thereof. If a town superintendent's expenditures in a fiscal year exceed the amount appropriated for a particular item, transferred to it pursuant to other provisions, he is personally liable on the obligation he has thus incurred. Is that serious? You take that seriously?
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah.
But when I get verbals from everybody,
Well, it doesn't say anything about verbals and text
no,
messages.
no, it doesn't.
We should
But
be
what I'm
making our
saying is I
decisions
follow it
here in public. We should be making our decisions here in public.
So what do you want to do?
So you have a public
Okay,
meeting,
so
we
if
can
I
have
can't get a
special
hold of
meetings.
you- If I
Right.
can't get a hold of you, he calls a special meeting at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning, and you don't show up, what happens
Well,
then?
if I don't show up, fine. If I have sufficient notice. Besides, special meetings have sufficient notice requirements.
10 days.
No, it's not 10 days. But anyway, I wasn't aware of Craig Road. Besides, I'm opposed to paving over $213,000 on two reasonably good oil and stone roads while we have,
207.
well, it's in here for 213 in our abstracts, while you're neglecting the dirt roads.
How many neglect?
Well, they're full of potholes, right? There's places that need new base put in, need dug out, they need to be investigated instead of paving over roads so Don and Gary can get here faster.
Oh, come on, Richard. So Don and Gary can get here faster.
All right, I guess,
You know,
the whole scenario.
You
on
do use
this
that
whole
road,
thing-
don't you?
This
Mill
whole-
Road?
I use it occasionally.
Right, occasionally. I assume you come up here with that.
No, I actually come
Well,
outside
all right, anyway,
This whole scenario on this
But
whole
you know
thing-
what? This shit that's going on here with personal attacks is out of hand. And that's just what this has been. I mean, we never used to have that in this town.
we just had good old rubber stamps and everything went along smoothly.
No, that's really not the way it all
Well,
works. I know that's your
I've
perception.
been coming here a long time.
Yeah, you have.
Right.
And so that's what happened when your father was supervisor?
I don't know, I didn't come then.
Oh, okay.
But I know that there's been a lot of rubber stamping, everything blows along, fine, let's see how fast we can get out of here. And I know that these oil and stone roads were good roads, and now we just spent $213,000 paving them over, while we have dirt roads. And would you care to not interrupt me? It's something you should have learned at the kitchen table when you were
Well,
about
I'm
seven.
gonna tell you something right now.
If that's gonna be the case, neither of you are gonna interrupt either of the other.
Very well.
So,
End of conversation.
I'm gonna tell you something, last board meeting, if you remember, that what was said, if we pave roads, that we can spend oil and stone on other areas, which, that was discussed, correct?
I haven't seen any oil and stone on other areas. You doing oil and stone now, this week or next week?
July.
And you have a plan for that? I'd like to see the plan. Would you provide me with the plan?
It's on the 24.
No, it's not on the 284. Some things. How about your inventory? I haven't had your inventory. Do you have your inventory available? Okay.
And that's not due in September.
Last year's is due. You must have last year's on file, don't you?
No.
Well, where is it?
Never was not.
Never did it? Really? Isn't that required by law?
Yep.
But you just figured,
Never did it.
never did. Well, there we are.
What do you wanna do, Dick?
I'd like to have public meetings and discuss things with the public here so that we can collectively decide on things without having text messages to just three of us,
3 of them.
or 3 or 4, however. I don't think you tried to call me, frankly, because I have a cell phone and the calls are there and I didn't have any call from you.
Well, maybe you didn't go through, because I got 2 numbers for you.
Well, I have an answering machine on my house phone and you're welcome to leave a message there and I'm certain there was nothing there.
I have a King of Steel number, and I have a...
Anyway, we should be making our decisions here as a collective body in public, not with text messages flying around and spending $100,000. I'm sure Blades can come back and do it after we've made a decision on what the proper expenditures of money are.
Wasn't the criteria, this was federal money given to the town, Chuck Schumer gift to the town of $118,000
On Monday, yeah.
on a Monday, and this was late into May. It had to either be scheduled or completed by the 30th of May. So the urgency to get it done was there, and it was reasonable.
And that was the 24th?
somewhere about there.
So you're saying you had to spend the money right then?
Yes.
I doubt that.
No, no, not, it's
No,
not.
to get the price from Blades. There was a May price that they had on blacktop. Apparently they were slow in May because the price was way lower. When we talked about it earlier, you anticipated it was gonna be up 90-some thousand a mile. This was what, 74,000?
Yeah, you
So-
told us 20, you said, told us 71.
No, the lady at Blades screwed up.
Well,
Screwed up.
she may have screwed up, but you told us 71, and then it turned out to be 74 a few days later.
Right.
Because she had the wrong type of
Yeah,
thing to
well,
go.
be that as it may, you told us one thing, but it was another in the end. And now our appropriation for this, on our budget is 178,000 for the category that you now want to spend 213 out of.
No,
No? Well, let's look at the vouchers then.
were you gonna?
178 is what went into the budget because we based that on the fact that the 20% was coming off the CHIPS, any winter recovery money, and any paid New York money, which that got put back, plus that other influx of money
118,000.
from Schumer.
Well,
So,
there's 213.
then I don't remember what the total was, Lee, 4 something?
437,101.
Okay. So, that's what it went up to.
Well, be that as it may, I think we should make our decisions here at meetings
All right.
with the public available.
And we'll, okay, so going forward, we will do that on everything.
Good. Excellent.
So, the winter recovery money in the paid New York, that's where most of that's coming out of. That means a little bit's coming out of the chips. That's it. Which there's the 284 of 118, I think 140 for payment. So, another thing is County Eaton called me again this past week, and wanted to know if we wanted to go ahead and maybe decide on getting that next truck from them. Their supervisor told the superintendent to call me. So they want 149, which was discussed prior to this board meeting, and another board meeting. Nothing was done, so we just want to make sure we didn't want it before we sold it to somebody else. But year 2017. 45,000 miles. He said all he wants is a letter of intent and payment next July.
Well, we did, we know the used trucks that we've got from Eaton have been very well maintained. We know what we get.
Need to get delivered one more. Now they get one done.
Are you talking July, for clarification, Lee, it's July 2022.
Yes.
Just want to clarify that for
Yeah.
everybody.
Next July.
And instead of spending $225,000-$30,000 for the same truck, new.
It's a what?
What's your say?
It's the same setup that we got, 2012, 2016.
Same engine.
And you're gonna replace what?
That'll take the place of 2010. That'll be spare truck.
And we'll sell the,
The Sterling, the 06 Sterling, and the 05 Max, we auctioned off.
Who wants to live in the current right away?
Today, tomorrow, last week.
Why do we need another truck?
Why?
Why do we need to replace the truck? The 2010, you want to replace the
That'll be
2000,
a spare truck. That'll be
so you're not replacing it,
No.
you're just buying another truck.
Buying another truck and get rid of two. We don't have people driving.
So you're getting rid of which?
The 2005 Mac and the 2006 Sterling.
That's the last of the Sterlings.
And so what do you estimate those will bring Or are they just?
Probably between 12 and 15,000 a piece.
So the net is